Have you ever reached a point in life where kindness just started to feel heavy? You were raised to be polite, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to be understanding, even when it hurt. And for most of your life, that worked. You smiled through disrespect, forgave without receiving an apology, and stayed quiet to keep the peace. But as you grow older, something changes inside you. You start realizing that kindness, the one thing that once defined you, has begun to cost you more than it gives. There comes an age when your peace becomes sacred. You fought too many battles, carried too many burdens, and survived too many storms to still be handing out your energy to people who only take. At this stage, kindness isn't about being polite anymore. It's about being wise. So here's the truth no one tells you when you're young. You shouldn't be kind to everyone, especially not to people who drain your spirit, doubt your worth, or disrespect your boundaries. The first type of person you must stop being kind to is the chronic complainer, the negative soul who sees a problem in every blessing. You know the kind. No matter what you say or do, they'll twist it into something dark. You share good news, and they find a reason to bring it down. You talk about your plans, and they respond with fear, sarcasm, or doubt. They've built their identity around being miserable, and your light threatens their comfort. At first, you try to help. You listen, you advise, you encourage. But with time, you realize they don't want solutions. They want sympathy. They feed on attention and drain your peace. When you're young, you tolerate it because you think it's your duty to help people. But as you age, you understand that you can't save someone who enjoys their suffering. And kindness to such people isn't compassion, it's self-neglect. Protect your peace. You're not obligated to be a sponge for other people's misery. True kindness sometimes means stepping back and letting people face their own reflection. Then there's the second type, the one who always gives advice you never asked for. They think they know what's best for you, even when they've never walked a single step in your shoes. You mention you're tired, and they say, "You should do this." You share a dream, and they say, "That'll never work." You tell them how you feel, and they reply, "You're overreacting." Their words sound helpful, but their tone carries judgment. They don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. And if you spend a lifetime being kind, you probably smile and nod, pretending you're fine with it. But deep down, you feel unseen, unheard, and disrespected. At a certain age, you have to reclaim your right to silence. You don't need to explain your choices or justify your feelings to people who have already decided not to understand you. Remember, just because someone speaks doesn't mean you owe them your attention. And just because someone offers advice doesn't mean it deserves to be followed. Kindness doesn't mean agreeing with everyone. It means standing firm in your truth without apology. The third type of person you must stop being kind to is the one who resists growth. The person who refuses to change, yet complains about how life never gets better. You know them. They keep repeating the same mistakes, year after year. They say they want peace, but they stir conflict. They say they want happiness, but cling to bitterness. You try to show them a better way. You share your experience, your lessons, your hope, but they nod politely and go right back to their old ways. It's frustrating, isn't it? You care, but your care becomes exhaustion. You want to inspire them, but they pull you into their chaos. At some point, you have to understand, some people aren't meant to change while you're watching. You can love them from afar. You can pray for them quietly. But you don't have to sacrifice your peace to prove your loyalty. As we grow older, life teaches us that not everyone deserves a front row seat in our story. Some people were meant for a few chapters, not the whole book. So if you feel guilty for pulling back, don't. You're not abandoning anyone. You're simply respecting the space your soul needs to heal, breathe, and grow. Kindness without boundaries turns into self-destruction. And at this age, you've earned the right to protect your peace fiercely. You see, kindness is beautiful. It's powerful. But it's not meant to be endless when it's one-sided. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't heal others by continuously hurting yourself. As you move through the stage of life, you'll start noticing something deeper. You begin valuing calm more than chaos, silence more than arguments, solitude more than company that drains you. And that's not bitterness. That's wisdom. You've learned that not everyone deserves access to your kindness, because not everyone knows what to do with it. So the next time someone says, "You've changed," smile gently and say, "Yes, I've learned who deserves my kindness and who doesn't." Because kindness without direction isn't virtue, it's waste. And your energy is too precious to keep wasting on people who don't value it. You know what else life teaches you as you get older? That disappointment often comes from expecting too much from people who've shown you too little. For years, you gave endlessly. You were there when people needed comfort, advice, money, support, anything. You showed up for birthdays, for tears, for late-night calls. But when the time came for someone to show up for you, the silence was deafening. It's a painful lesson, realizing that loyalty doesn't always return home. You start to see how often your kindness has been mistaken for weakness. How often people came to you because they knew you'd say yes, even when you were exhausted. But one day, something inside you just shifts. You stop waiting for people to match your effort. You stop expecting phone calls that never come. You stop chasing appreciation that should have been freely given. That's when peace begins to settle in. Because you finally understand love, loyalty, and effort can't be begged. They have to be chosen. And if someone doesn't choose you with the same heart you've always chosen them, you have every right to walk away. Quietly, without anger, without guilt. You don't owe anyone endless chances. You don't owe them explanations for your distance. And you don't owe them access to your energy simply because you've known them for years. See, one of the hardest things about growing older isn't the wrinkles or the aches. It's learning to let go of expectations without losing your compassion. To still wish people well, but no longer let them drain you. It's the kind of peace that comes when you finally say to yourself, I can love people from a distance and still be kind, but I don't have to keep bleeding to prove it. Then comes another truth that hits with age. You realize that living in the past is another form of imbalance. It's tempting, isn't it? To replay the what-ifs, to wish you could go back to the times when things were easier, simpler, or happier. You think about the people you've lost, the chances you didn't take, the moments that slipped away. But here's what no one tells you when you're younger. The past is not a place you can live in. It's a place you visit only long enough to learn. When you hold on to it for too long, it starts holding you. You begin comparing everything in your present to what used to be. And soon, you stop noticing the beauty that still exists right here, right now. I once met an elderly man in a park. He was sitting on a bench, smiling at nothing in particular. I asked him what he was thinking about. He said, "My memories are warm, but I don't live there anymore. They visit me, I thank them, and then I let them go." That line stayed with me. Because that's what peace looks like. Learning to honor your past without being trapped by it. Your kindness belongs in the present, not in regrets. The people who left, the moments that ended, the mistakes that hurt, they were all teachers. They gave you wisdom. They shaped the person you are now. But they don't deserve to steal your today. So if you catch yourself dwelling too much, remind yourself, the past already gave you its lesson. You don't need to keep rereading the same page. And that brings us to one of the most sacred lessons of all, boundaries. For most of your life, you were probably taught that saying no was rude, that nice people always say yes, always give, always understand, always forgive. But here's the truth you learn with time. No is one of the kindest words you can ever say, especially to protect your peace. People with no boundaries often end up exhausted, resentful, and invisible. You become everyone's solution but your own priority. You carry burdens that were never yours to carry. You say yes to avoid guilt, even when every part of you is screaming no. But kindness without limits turns into self-sacrifice. And that's not love, that's loss of self. You start realizing that not everyone who gets close to you deserves access to your emotions. Not everyone who calls you family or friend deserves your endless patience. Sometimes you have to choose yourself, and that's not selfish, it's survival. It's okay to say, "No, I can't make it today. No, I don't want to talk about that. No, I've done enough. No, I deserve to rest." Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks, and you decide who gets the key. And when people get upset that you're setting boundaries, it usually means they were benefiting from you having none. You'll notice that as you grow older, you begin craving smaller circles and simpler conversations. You no longer need loud rooms or large crowds. You'd rather sit in peace, sip your tea, and talk to people who listen, really listen. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop explaining your silence. You stop proving your worth. Because now, you know your worth doesn't depend on how many people you please. It depends on how much peace you keep. That's what wisdom looks like. Not becoming hard or bitter, but becoming clear. Clear about who deserves your kindness and who doesn't. Clear about what drains you and what fills you. Clear about the difference between being good-hearted and being taken for granted. So, when someone says, "You're not as nice as you used to be," take it as a compliment. It means you've learned to protect your energy. It means you've learned that kindness without boundaries isn't kindness. It's surrender. And you're done surrendering your peace just to make others comfortable. Because you finally learned that you can be kind and still say no. You can be loving and still walk away. You can be soft and still have strength. That's the balance. That's the freedom. And once you taste that kind of peace, you never go back. You know, one of the quiet blessings of getting older is that you start to see life with incredible clarity. It's like your vision shifts, not through your eyes, but through your heart. You begin to see who truly values you and who only values what you can give. You start recognizing energy, the kind that feels calm, honest, and real, and the kind that leaves you feeling empty after every interaction. That's the moment you realize peace is worth more than people. In your younger years, you might have chased approval, tried to keep everyone happy, tried to fix every misunderstanding, even blamed yourself for things you didn't do. You spent so much time trying to be enough for everyone that you forgot to be enough for yourself. But with age comes this quiet wisdom. You stop chasing people. You stop explaining your choices. You stop begging to be understood. Because you finally understand the ones who truly care never needed convincing in the first place. You start choosing silence over arguments, distance over drama, solitude over fake company. And it's not because you've grown cold. It's because you've grown wise. You see, peace doesn't always look like happiness. Sometimes peace looks like doing less, saying less, being less available, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. You begin noticing who calls only when they need something, who disappears when you're struggling, who listens without interrupting, and who waits only for their turn to talk. And instead of being angry about it, you simply adjust. You give less energy to people who drain you and more to the ones who fill your heart quietly. You start valuing peace the same way you once valued excitement. Because excitement fades, but peace lasts. You might still feel moments of loneliness, but even that changes meaning with time. You stop fearing being alone because you've learned that solitude isn't emptiness, it's space. Space to rest, to think, to heal, to breathe. There's something sacred about sitting alone with your thoughts, realizing that you no longer need noise to feel alive. You don't need validation. You don't need attention. You just need quiet and the right kind of people, the ones who bring calm instead of chaos. You begin cherishing the small things that once went unnoticed. Morning sunlight filtering through your window, the sound of rain, the softness of a hug, a sincere "how are you?" from someone who actually waits for the answer. Because at this age, it's not about how many people surround you. It's about how many of them truly see you. That's the kind of love that matters now. Not loud, not dramatic, but peaceful, steady, and honest. And sometimes that love has to start with yourself. You spend decades being the strong one, the listener, the helper, the fixer. But who helped you when you were tired? Who listened when your heart was heavy? If you can't think of anyone, then maybe it's time to be that person for yourself. Make peace with your past. Forgive yourself for the things you didn't know back then. Forgive yourself for the times you stayed too long, trusted too easily, gave too much. You didn't fail, you just learned. And you're still learning. You're learning that it's okay to change, even now. It's okay to start over. It's okay to protect your peace fiercely, even if it confuses people. It's okay to let go of people you still love, but who no longer love you in a healthy way. Because holding on to the wrong people never keeps you company. It just keeps you stuck. The truth is, when you reach this stage of life, you realize that time is precious, and you want to spend it with those who make you feel alive, not drained. You want to give your kindness to those who appreciate it, not to those who take it for granted. You want to speak to people who hear you, not those who wait to argue. You become selective, not bitter. Peaceful, not distant. Quiet, not defeated. That's the beautiful transformation that comes with age. You begin editing your life like a book. You start removing the chapters that bring pain, rewriting the ones that bring healing, and finally understanding that not every character deserves to stay in your story. You realize that love, true love, doesn't demand constant effort. It feels safe. It feels easy. It doesn't make you question your worth. The same goes for friendship. If you have even 2 or 3 people who truly understand you, who check on you, who make you laugh, who make you feel seen, that's wealth. Real wealth. Because at the end of the day, what matters most isn't how much you've achieved, how much money you've saved, or how many people you know. What matters is how peacefully you can sleep at night, how gently you can treat yourself in the mirror, how freely you can smile when no one's watching. That's what success looks like in the later chapters of life. Not perfection, not popularity, but peace. So if you've been feeling like people treat you differently as you've gotten older, maybe that's not always a bad thing. Maybe it's life's way of showing you who truly belongs in your circle now. Because when you start choosing peace, you lose a lot, but only what was never real to begin with, and what you gain in return is priceless. Calm mornings, quiet confidence, a lighter heart, and a deeper appreciation for the small, honest joys that life still offers you. So, here's your gentle reminder. Don't let the world make you hard. Don't let loneliness make you forget your worth. Don't let aging make you afraid of change. You still have time to grow, to heal, to find joy, to connect, to love, to laugh. You still have light in you, no matter how many seasons you've lived through. You're not fading. You're refining. And every day you wake up and choose peace over chaos, kindness over bitterness, and self-respect over approval, you're becoming the strongest, wisest version of yourself. So, as you finish this video, take a moment, breathe, smile, and tell yourself, I'm still here. I'm still learning. I'm still enough. Because you are. And no matter what age you are, it's never too late to live a life that feels calm, kind, and deeply yours.